Former Commando Heston Russell has been awarded $390,000 in damages after he won his defamation case against the ABC. But it's a lawsuit this former Commando should never have been forced to make. Russell sued the ABC and high-profile journalist Mark Willesee over stories that claimed he was involved in the shooting of an unarmed prisoner. The claim that his unit had shot the 7th Afghan prisoner dead because he couldn't fit on their aircraft. These were unsubstantiated claims. Mark Willesee never had any proof of this, despite publicly claiming that he had. He relied on the foggy memory of a US Marine who hadn't witnessed anything. He wasn't an eyewitness, but he claimed, according to his foggy memory, that he'd heard a pop. Justice Michael Lee in court said that the audience would have expected a story by the ABC investigations team to have a certain level of accuracy and research. He said, "I gained the impression that a highly defensive mentality arose within ABC corporate affairs in relation to the work done by ABC investigations and, in particular, Mr. Willesee." Well, here was Mr. Willesee at a Walkley function in 2021.
The thing that pisses me off about this story is that, I'll give you an example. I spent 2 months working on a particular story involving, a US helicopter crewman. He told the story that they were out in an operation, they dropped their commandos. Then it was time to pick them up and, they radio in and said, we've got 6, our guys and 6 prisoners. And, the chopper pilot, he heard it through the communication, said, well, we've only got room for 5. And then, yep, we're good, we've got 5. And then, a while later, a newspaper says, it comes out with the headline, ABC's Pop Fiction. There's this idea that we make shit up and we don't. Yeah, come after me. If I've made a mistake or I've been loose with my journalism, come after me. I welcome it.
But he didn't welcome it at all, and he was referring to Jonathan Moran from the Daily Telegraph there. And when Jonathan Moran and Ben Fordham's program questioned Mark Willesee's reporting, he was furious, and so was his boss at the ABC. Willesee even rang and yelled at Ben Fordham's producer, James Willis. Now, this entire defamation case, I've spoken to lawyers involved today, it's estimated to cost around $3.5 million in costs and damages. All of this will be a hit to the taxpayer. These wrong reports also took a toll on the veteran himself. And retired Special Forces Commander Heston Russell joins me now. Welcome to the program and congratulations on your victory.
G'day, Shari. Thanks so much for having me on.
Now, these reports were first published 2020 and 2021. Finally, after 3 years, yesterday, you've managed to clear your name. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's been a massive journey. Look, there's been a lot of relief, but there's still a lot more to come because accountability isn't a payout and articles being taken down. Accountability is those who decided to target the very people who defend the freedoms that they espouse and hide behind to be held accountable and to be held accountable to the Australian taxpayer. Over the last 2 years, we offered just for an apology and for the articles to be taken down and for no money and no payment, but they went all the way through, and you saw the arrogance and flippancy of which they're so happy to dismiss me and my soldiers for fighting back against their words after fighting back for everything else that this country stands for.
I mean, he didn't even want to be questioned on his reporting, even though we've now seen that it was based on the foggy memory of a Marine. I mean, how difficult has this been for you personally? How dark did it get at times when people were thinking that you'd killed an innocent Afghan prisoner?
Yeah,
not an innocent, but that you had wrongly killed an Afghan prisoner.
I think the hardest period's been this last 12 months, where, as you would know, once I commenced legal proceedings, I had to sit on my hands, and prior to that I was able to fight back very publicly. And the ABC even launched new allegations saying they had helicopter footage of me shooting an unarmed prisoner on the ground, and that was published in The Guardian. And then during the trial, we actually gave them my helmet camera footage that showed it wasn't me and it wasn't an unarmed Afghan prisoner. But we haven't seen that. So there's a lot more to come out. And I have to say, Shari, one of the most hurtful parts has been that the Department of Defence, the Australian Defence Force, the generals that I served for, none of them have been there this whole period. None of them were at the court there yesterday. Ben Fordham and his team, Sue Crisantho, Rebecca Giles, they were all there. But none of those people that I called family and were my superiors have been there for me and my soldiers the last 3 years.
Now, you've described arrogance from the ABC. We know that overnight the ABC has finally removed those inaccurate articles. Have they apologised to you?
No, and Shari, they weren't even at the court yesterday. They weren't even there to hear the judgment from Justice Lee. They sent in their third string barrister. None of the ABC executives and none of the journalists were there to receive the justice that is deserved.
Questions need to be asked about, the ABC investigations team, the arrogance over which they took someone down based on no evidence at all. Do you think if this is the way that journalists and senior journalists, Gold Walkley winners, feel that they can treat people who have risked their lives to defend our country, do you think that others who would think twice about going to serve?
Absolutely. Look, one of the most amazing experiences in my entire career was the ability to fly around the world and take the fight to those who would target and bully innocent people. And I've encountered my greatest enemy at home, being the ABC, who targeted me and my soldiers, and the impact it's had on me, my mental health, my family, my mother, those who've had to pick up the pieces behind the scenes, is excusable and has left me with such a deep resentment for my own country based off those people spending our money and not caring for the impact on our veterans.
Look, just talking to you here, I can see the emotion of how difficult that's been for you. But the judge, in his when he was delivering his verdict, he seemed to question that you had even been distressed by this, and he said that he took the evidence of others. He was critical of the fact you defended yourself on social media. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think I have to bite my tongue because Justice Lee still needs to decide my costs next week. But I think he said that I'm no shrinking violet and seemed to take to the fight. You know what? I joined the army straight out of high school. I've been trained to fight for this country. I never thought I'd have to fight my hardest battle here at home. And what I've said is, imagine if I didn't have the ability to fight. Imagine if this happened to a soldier who didn't have their social media platform, who didn't have Ben Fordham and his team, who didn't have Sue Chrysanthemum and Rebecca Giles. This has led me to a place of contemplating taking my own life, and I had a massive following and all the rest. There's been a lot of comments made, and I'm speaking from a place of anger and trauma, and I need to go and heal for a bit, but it's really been very heartbreaking to feel that if I had have played the victim, I would have gotten a lot more damages and all the rest, or perhaps a bit more sympathy, but I'm not in it for that. I'm in it to clear my lads and to make sure that this can't happen to the next generation of veterans, and that's that next step that needs to happen from here.
Heston, I'm so sorry to hear that's how hard it's been for you, and I know all of our viewers watching will, their hearts go out to you. And, we're also grateful to you and every soldier who defends us and defends our way of life. And, we've seen in recent times just how barbaric the enemy can be and how important your role is in defending us. So thank you so much for your time.
No, absolutely. Thank you, Shari. Really appreciate it.